Good morning students, welcome to your computer class. I am Sunny. So students, today we are going to start with a new chapter which is algorithm and flowcharts. Now what is an algorithm and what is a flowchart? We are going to learn here. So this is a chapter number 7. So let's start our class. Now the first thing which we are going to talk about, I am going to talk about an example. Suppose you have just moved out to a different city and you're going to your school and you don't know the way. So before leaving your home, you would decide on first thing is how am I going to reach the school, whether I will be going, whether I'll be just walking to the school, whether I will be using a public transport or whether I will be going to school through my personal means. The second thing, you are going to decide on the weather condition, especially it is monsoon time now. If you are going, suppose you have decided, you have solved the first question that you have decided that you are going to walk to school. Now the second question come here is, if you are walking to school and if it starts raining, what would you do? The second question will answer it that you are going to carry a raincoat to protect yourself from if it's just in case if it starts raining. Then comes the third condition. The third condition is what time should you leave? Suppose your school starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, then you would decide on what time do you plan to leave. So that is another question which comes in. So suppose if you are just 2 or 3 kilometers away from your home, better to leave a bit early. So you can leave, if you decide to leave around 7:15, then it's fine. So then comes your next answer, which is 7:15. Then comes another question. Then next thing comes in, what time should you get up? That's another point. Now what time you should get up? You will have to get up early. So suppose you decide you get up in the 6 in the morning. So at the end of the day, you would see you would have solved all your problems. You decided to get up 6 in the morning, leave school by 7:15. You know you are going to walk to school. You are carrying a raincoat just in case if it starts raining, you are going to carry the rain. And at the end, once you reach the school, your program stops, right? Then the timetable and the period automatically will take place and the teaching will happen. So automatically when you solve these problems, you would see that you get the solution for your problem. Now what is it? Now it is the sequential steps which are required to solve any problem. Now can you get up, can you go to school first and then come back and then take bath and then have breakfast and then again walk down and then come back and then take raincoat? The answer is no. That is the unorganized way of doing it. That's not the systematic way of solving a problem, right? So what it helps us to understand, if you have a problem, what are my challenges and what are my strengths. So you had the raincoat, that was an option, right? Your school was nearby, that is another thing. So that's the reason you decided to walk down to school. That was your opportunity. The disadvantages what you had was that you were not you did opt for any public transport, so hence you were left with no other option apart from walking it. So you decide on whether you have strengths and weakness and then plan it accordingly. This is called as planning things and problem solving steps. Next comes is algorithm. Now what is an algorithm? Algorithm is a set of instructions which can be followed to perform specific tasks systematically. Systematically, you get up in the morning, you get up early, you fresh up, you walk down, you have your raincoat, you reach school on time, the program ends, right? So that's how the programming takes place. Now it is written in simple language and in proper sequence. All the algorithms which are written should be in simple language so that everyone can understand the steps. And there may be a different approach. Now you decided to just walk down to school. There might be another student who decides to cycle down. There will be another student who will decide that he is going to use a public transport. There is another student who will use a school bus, right? So different people, different approach, but At the end, the solution is same. The agenda is to reach the school on time. And everybody, but the approach is different. Somebody will go to the bus stand and wait for it. Somebody will get up, fresh up and get ready. Somebody's parents would be waiting in their bike or in their car to pick their child. Somebody would be using a public transport, which might just be at their doorsteps or walking down to a certain point. So there are different options, but the solution is one, which is reaching school on time. Now students, who was the person who discovered algorithm? So students, here we are talking about Abu Zafar Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi. Now he is the person behind the algorithm. So he is called as the father of algebra, and he comes from a village in ancient time called as Khwarizmi, which was in Iran at one point of time. Now, Mr. Abu Zafar Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi is also known for mathematics, astronomy and geography. You can see his photo here. This is how he looked like. Now, what are the benefits of algorithm? So, everything has got an advantages and everything has got some disadvantages. Now, what are the advantages of algorithm? It helps us to decide on a strategy. What strategy? A problem becomes easier if you define with the help of algorithm. So if you define all your problems, how am I going to reach the school? How am I going to get up early? What am I going to use? What if it starts raining? So you will get an answers for that also. So that's how you plan out your strategy. Next thing is flexibility. An algorithm can be translated into any desired computer language. So not only here we are not talking about French, here we are not talking about Spanish, here we are not talking about Mandarin, we are talking about the computer language, which is C++, Java, COBOL and other languages. So it can be easily adapted to any other language. Next thing is, it is easy to identify and remove the errors. Suppose you decided to go to school by walk, but suddenly you have mentioned there, I am going to cycle down to school, but you don't have a bicycle. So you can immediately understand, okay, I don't have a bicycle, so this is an error, and I can go ahead and remove this error and correct it and put it back there. So the correction becomes much more easier. But there are limitations for an algorithm also. What are the limitations? There is no proper syntax. Now, what is a syntax? Students, syntax is the rules which we write to solve any problem. For example, when you go to your higher classes, I will be teaching you on how you will be creating your websites, web pages, right? For every command we enter there is a rule. For heading, there will be a different rule. For putting the color, there will be a different rule. For writing the text, there will be a different rule. So everything is in the form of syntax. So it is an organized way. Whether you develop a web page in India, whether you do it in Mauritius, whether you do it in Singapore, or whether you do it in Ukraine, you would see that developing the web page is same in all the other places. But here in algorithm, there is no proper syntax. So every second person writing an algorithm will have a different concept or different view about that problem. So the resolution will also be different. Next is non-standard representation. Now you cannot standardize an algorithm. The reason behind it is that different people have different views of solving a problem. You would have seen in your daily life, different people use different methods. If you have to go from your home to school, there might be 2 or 3 ways to go to your school. You might, suppose if you stay in Varma Choraha, you can just go through Patel Nagar and then go there. The second option is to going through the station. The third option could be, as your van driver goes, he might take you to Chowk, and from there you go to Bakarganj, and then you again come back to LIC Road, then Patel Nagar, and then come to school. So different views, different problems, different views. So here we cannot standardize the complete process. So students, this Brings us to the end of our discussion. Our homework would be, we would be doing tick the correct option and answer the following question, which is question number 1. What do you mean by algorithm? You will do this answer in your computer notebook in a very good handwriting. You're going to put the heading, you're going to put the date, and you are going to answer question number 1 and tick the correct option you will be doing in the book itself. If in case if you have any doubts or any questions, you can reach me through the comment section. So thank you students, and stay home and stay healthy.